Okay, in this video I wanted to demonstrate how you can use Google Docs to be helpful at work, not just some tips that show some functionality, but really how can you use it in your daily jobs. So I asked myself, like, how do I use it so much? And the first thing that came to mind was notes. I take notes at virtually every meeting that I attend, and I would recommend that you do like I do, which is just put a date in for every meeting. So I'm searching just for 5-12. You notice this file here for MacBook Air is on 5/22. 12 is there. There's an agenda item here for 12-13-16. So basically any file that I create, I insert a date. So if I know I had a meeting, for instance, I believe I had a meeting on May 10th for our technology leadership. If I do 5-10-17, I should be able to pull that file up right away. So, and then once I pull that file up, what I'll typically do is copy that file and then rename it to 5/17/17 and then go on from there. So that's just one tip that I'd like to share as far as functionality of using Google Docs. And then once you have those files all at your fingertips, at any time if someone were to call you and say, hey, I really need to know something about elementary grade book, the very first thing I type in is ESGB, and I even called it, was kind of redundant in case I wasn't sure how I would search for it. So I think that's the name of the file. Wait for it. I know it's there. There we go. So I have this one file that has been the planning guide for 3 or 4 years now. And once you have a file started, what I've done, you notice these pages are continuing to load. There's like 48 pages. There we go. Still loading. 30, 42, 47, 48. What I do is just kind of go to the bottom and just keep adding as we have meetings. And I'll note, who attended the meeting and what we discussed. And that way at the very next meeting, I'll generally draw a line. I'll do insert a horizontal line, and I'll put the next date and who attended and notes. And that way at the beginning of that next meeting we say, hey, well, last time we talked about these 6 things and that was important. But as you notice in this Google Doc, there are a lot of hyperlinks here. So the term that Google and other folks like to call it is a HyperDoc. The beauty here is you can have links to other things. So if you're talking about the subject of elementary grade book, for instance, and you want to look at the kindergarten report card, well, it's right there. So you just click there and you click there. And now we have that to talk about. There's no, hey, go find this and look through your email and all that. It's just right there at your fingertips. Of course, all the other report cards are there. There's documentation, links to other things. So basically everything that you might need for this project can be linked. And linking is really simple. You just type in text and then highlight over it, tell it you want to link, and then find the document that you want to link to. For instance, let's say it's this document again, copy it, go over here and paste, hit apply. Okay, now that's there. So for the next time, if I need to access that information, it's at my fingertips. And another one of the most beautiful things that you can do, and this is a tough document. I don't really care about how it looks. I know the data is there though. So if I'm looking for something, I'll hit Control F, and then I'll simply type in something like power law, because that's the grading method that we decided to use. And you'll see there's 4 references, and I can say, oh yeah, these are all the options that we had, and then we talked more about power law at this time. And you can find basically any reference that there might be to power law in this document very easily. Another thing you could look for, I know we talked a lot about the grading scale, and how do we determine the grading scale for this project? Well, over here, far deep into this document is that chart. So if we need to figure out what a 2+ equaled as far as the ranges of data that were built to make this thing work, it's all right there. So having HyperDocs where you have links to, and I usually put, if I go to meeting information and other things within the document. And again, I don't really care how it looks. It's not real pretty, but it's extremely effective, and if I need to find information, I can. I can search for a ticket number, all that kind of stuff. So that's one example, elementary grade book. Another one I was thinking of that I had done as well, like I'll meet with various departments from time to time for projects, but not real frequently, so I certainly don't remember exactly when we met or what exactly we discussed. So again, I take notes. Okay, here's the folks that were there at this particular meeting, and these are the things we discussed. And maybe there was a question about how we're going to get pictures from Synergy into nutrition. Well, I just do a Control F. I search for the word pictures. I scroll down until I find what I need, or again, here's another hyperlink. There's a memorandum of understanding that we were looking at as far as using some data regarding TANF and free reduced lunch and all that kind of stuff, and we wanted to see what that MOU looked like. So that's there. So, and notice here as well, again, not pretty, but effective. I know these are all the dates that we met with nutrition. And if we meet again, this will be the first thing I do is I search for the word nutrition meeting. I'll add another date. I'll add a line, and I'll keep going. And if we need to reference any information, I use that old Control F to find that data. So hopefully you'll find this methodology somewhat helpful for you when you attend either weekly meetings or meetings that you meet with various groups infrequently and like to keep organized. Hope it helps. Thanks.